Hi, welcome to the section video from UW AppDev. I'm Vicky Xiang. I'll be talking about wrapped and projected value in Swift 5.2 today. Let's go ahead and get started. This workshop is going to consist of three parts. First, we're going to talk about property wrapper and then how to access the values, and finally, reasons for using the property wrappers. To understand what wrapped value and projected value are, we will have to first figure out the usages of property wrappers. You may see lots of at something statements in Swift. These are what's called property wrappers. Essentially, property wrappers can be defined by using struct, class, or enum. The encapsulated behavior is further applied to the variables, or vars, wrapped, enabling code reuse and elegant programming scheme. One example is at publish. This property wrapper allows a var to publish the changes we impose on it. In this specific case, we have the changes are periodically published and never fails, kind of like an ideal mapping tool, never failing to show the updates and to see the traffics or construction after refreshing. Let's go over this. Let's take a look at the code for these. In the player view, I have defined a struct called episode, which contains information about title and time length of the episode. You might have noticed the Boolean value for is playing has an @sign variable in front of it. This is an @sign attribute or property wrapper. If we navigate to a few lines below, we can see play button is waiting to hear an action of clicking on the button itself. So the play button here takes a projected value prefixed by the $sign. Using the projected value, you can pass the binding value down a view hierarchy. Now, if we click on the play button, we can see it changes as we click on changes from play to pause and then from pause to play. To have a better understanding of the effects of property wrapper and projected values here on our app, let's try removing them and see what the difference is. If we take the state attribute out and set this is playing automatic to be default false, and now we can see here it gives an arrow says cannot convert type bool to expected argument binding bool. This is because in the play button we have defined the variable to be a binding variable. So now let's change this to just a normal variable and resume our yes. So here you can see this is a great compiler arrow. What we'll do is to set a default value for button. This way, when we go back to the player view, the play button will always be play. You can change them to false, so to pause. So if you want to publish the changes associated with it, associated with the struct, you can use projected value. In summary, once the wrapped value detects a set, i.e. the change of its value, it would invoke the change on the projected value for us to share these changes among different views of @sign state or @sign observed object variables, which we'll talk about now. Now that you know how to publish changes associated with structs, let's see how the similar could be performed with other general purpose flexible building blocks called classes in Swift. Here we have a simple class called show, which conforms to the observable object format. The strategy here is to use @published to publish our changes with a class. And remember, @published can only be used with properties of classes, so don't use it with a non-class type such as structs. And @published is actually just a syntactic sugar for the struct published. Here, it will create two variables. One is the wrapped value of some type, and the other one is the projected value, which is the changed value that we do want to publish its changes for. So this will be of type publisher, and the output will be the same type as the data that you want to publish, which in this case will be the same as some type of our wrapped value. It will also include a failure parameter that should also implement the error. But this is not the focus of this episode. If you do want to learn more, I will attach a link in the description section. What I do want to show is in this class file, we have initializer that takes an integer episode and sets the episode to be episode. And in our actual episode view, we have now an observed object var that's called show, and show takes an integer episode 20. So we're playing episode 20 right now. Here we have a simple text that's showing which episode is being played right now, and a button that will associate the changes with it. So now if we preview this, when we click on next episode, nothing is happening. That is because our episode has not been published yet. So in this class, we want the variable episode to be published. Now, if we click on preview and click on our next episode, we can successfully change the episode to be incrementing. So this is a simple overview of projected values and assign published attribute in Swift. If you want to learn more about data flow, check out the link in the description.